We start off full of affection for one another, and then, with time, feelings fade. We start prioritizing work. We check our phones while they're speaking. We don't especially want to hear how their day went. There's a popular surface explanation for this kind of emotional frost, that people naturally get bored of one another in the same way as they get bored with everything else. The gadget that once seemed so amazing, the film they used to love. Going cold is, in this story, simply the unavoidable consequence of familiarity. Isn't either natural or inevitable. The boredom is something at once more complicated and more active. It exists because we feel hurt by, angry with, or scared of our partner, and because we haven't found a cathartic way to tell ourselves or them about it. Tuning out isn't inevitable, it's a symptom of disavowed emotional distress. This can sound strange. After all, we might have no active sense that our partner has been hurting, angering, or frightening us. The idea appears laughable or extreme. It makes our partner sound like monsters or ourselves like weaklings, neither of which is true. But the self that loves within a relationship is not the normal adult self we know from other zones of our lives. We may mostly be hugely resourceful and resilient, but the person who loves is an infinitely more vulnerable being. We should imagine it like a smaller, younger, more defenseless version of ourselves that lives in our heads and is no tougher and not much wiser than we were as babies, which is when so many of our needs fall and ideas about love were formed. this vulnerable self that continues to direct our hearts, even if we're 6'2" with a pointy beard. The loving self has a gossamer thin ego. It gets hurt, frightened, and upset with desperate ease. You could deeply distress it by interrupting it during a story it's telling you about the sandwich it had for lunch, by not asking it enough about the little spot it got on its arm yesterday, by preferring a book to cuddling, or being a bit tricky about what channel it should watch on TV. Of course, these are, by ordinary adult standards, tiny slights,